And then Stella is saying, oh my goodness, Chris, I'm curious to know, what was your biggest takeaway from the UPW that changed you? Yeah, thanks for asking. So Tony Robbins has this event all over the world called UPW, Unleash the Power Within. Don't take any of my courses. Only take that course if you're going to take one course. And basically, he makes you really focus on what you're most passionate about in life. And so I went, one of my investors, one of my clients, great guy named Michael Bressler. He's one of the top guys at JP Morgan here on the West Coast. Very thoughtful of him to bring me. He had an extra ticket. And I went down in, I think it was October or November of 2015. And, Tony Robbins said that it was on the last day. It was a 4-day event. And on the last day, he said, I want you to write down one goal for something you've been putting off and set a deadline date. And for me, it was writing my book, 101 Crucial Lessons they don't teach you in business school. And I wrote down, I'll get it done within 3 or 4 weeks, whatever. When I flew back that Sunday night, I went to work the next day in venture capital, and I left work by noon, and I didn't show up for a while. I just wasn't feeling it. And I stayed home and I wrote furiously for 3 days straight. And Christine was in New York then. I remember I was driving the kids to school and stuff. 3 days straight, kind of like that Jerry Maguire moment. You remember when he wrote all night long and then he got fired? and I wrote my book and I couldn't stop. And I was just full of passion and on cloud 9 after that, that conference. And I'm humbled to say I finished the book by Wednesday. It took me 2 days, whatever. And I published it, and Forbes wrote an article about it pretty quickly saying it's one of 6 books that all entrepreneurs should read, along with Peter Thiel's book 0 to 1, 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, Good to Great, and whatever, 2 others. I'm very humbled to be in that company. And I did it, and I started at that point really thinking with my heart. Everything I did business-wise with my heart, and not about money. And I started teaching a lot more. It wasn't about the money. I just I just loved it. Just do what I wanted to do. And that it kind of changed me that way. It really did. And it also helped me to condition myself mentally to think of things in terms of pain and pleasure. That's something Tony Robbins came up with. Like, if I eat this piece of chocolate cake right here, I'll feel this much pleasure, but this much pain because I'll gain weight, whatever. If I wash my face, it's painful to do. It takes time. Doesn't hurt, but it's just, it's a hassle. It's this much pain. But if I'll have this much more pleasure longer term because my face won't look awful, meaning breaking out wise, etc. And then in terms of conditioning myself, he had us all walk over these boiling hot coals, fire. It's called a fire walk. And he conditioned us not to feel it and to conquer fear. And I walked across it. It was exhilarating. I didn't feel anything. And he had his staff there with garden hoses to wash you down right away. It was all fine. It was safe. And I didn't feel it. And I went, that was a Saturday night, day 3 of the conference in LA at the Staples Center. And I went, I think it was the Staples, maybe it was the convention center, I can't remember. And then I remember that night, I couldn't sleep because number 1, I was excited about what I'd learned. And number 2, my feet were hurting, man. And I literally popped 3 or 4 Advil that night. But I just it really helped me to understand that everything is up here. Like the Rodin sculpture, I think, therefore I am. Or as Henry Ford said, whether or not you think you can do it, you're right. So it kind of helped me to take my game to the next level. I recommend it, Stella. I think you'll love it. Okay. It'll be the best investment you ever make.